Hello again. So we've got two more problems under the same pretense, solving quadratic equations with square roots. Okay. So I want to solve for x. Basically, that means I want to get x by itself. And I got to say again, it's got to have an x squared and numbers. It can't have an x term in there when you're solving with this method. Otherwise, you'll have to use a different method. So what I want to do is get everything without an x squared on one side. Whew. 3x squared equals 18. I got 3 times x squared equals 18. Divide by 3 on both sides. Oops. That's 6, actually. X squared equals 6. Now, in order to get rid of a square root, you got to use that dangerous, deadly move called the square root move. Don't do this in your own class or at home or anywhere. I mean, you can go ahead and do it the square, x squared or y squared all you want, but other than that, it's pretty vicious. Now, when you use this move, you got to account for the good and the bad. Answer is plus or minus root 6, or x equals positive root 6, x equals negative root 6, depending how you like to write it. I think that comes out to like 2.45 or something like that. I don't know off the top of my head. I certainly can't round more than that. Anyways, with that said, that's basically where it hits the x-axis, at about 2.45, negative 2.45, approximately. You can write your answer like this, like the first one, or like these. I imagine your teacher, unless your teacher specifically says how they want it written, either way. But this answer, or those two answers together, are sufficient. 6 times the quantity x minus 4 squared equals 42. What you got to do is divide by 6. Now you can't take the square root of both sides, because then you have to take the square root of 6 and the square root of 42. That's just nasty. That's not going to work. Well, that's not going to work either, actually, but whatever. Take the square root of both sides, but when you take the square root of both sides, you got to account for the good and the bad, so it's plus or minus root 7, but add 4 to both sides to get the x completely by itself. You cannot add a square root number and a whole number together. It just won't work. It's not square root 11, it's not, well, that's pretty much the only answer I can think of. It's 4 plus or minus the square root of 7, or it's plus or minus square root of 7 plus 4. This is, because the square root of 7 is, I don't know, 2.6 or something. So actually it would be around 6.6, and 4 minus 2.6 is like 1.4. So you can't say it's the square root of 11, because the square root of 11 is not 1.4 and 2.6. Whatever I said, 5.6 or no, 6, I don't know, 6, whatever I said. I can't keep track of it now. X equals, so what I want to do is put the 4 before the square root sign. So it's 4 plus or minus root 7. That's the answer. Or you can write 4 plus root 7 and 4 minus root 7. You can write the answers like this or like this. Either way. X equals. Yeah, so that's solving quadratic equations with square roots, at least a brief overview. But hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Other than that, have a good day. Goodbye.